Hey, welcome back to Livin MN Outdoors. I'm Daniel, and thanks for tuning in to this week's fishing report. Before we dive into this week's report, just want to remind you guys, if you use any of the guides or resorts mentioned in today's report, please let them know you saw them on Livin MN Outdoors. Also, if you'd like your pictures featured in next week's fishing report, please send them in to livinmnoutdoors@gmail.com and we will make sure to get those in next week's report. This week we're going to start things off up on Lake Winnie. I talked to Chad from the Pines Resort and Scott from zupsguideservice, and both of them told me that the walleye bite is extremely good right now. Now, as far as where to find those walleyes, they said you can find walleyes on the shoreline weed lines in 4 to 8 feet of water, or they're starting to find them out on some of the mid-lake humps in anywhere from 16 to 25 feet of water. Now, up until this week, it was primarily a jig and minnow bite, but it's starting to switch over and it's becoming more of a leech bite. Whether you're throwing a slip bobber in a leech or a spinner in a leech, the leech is what is preferred as of right now. Now, Lake Winnie is in the beginning stages of some bug hatches, and when those bug hatches go full bore, a night crawler is going to be your best bet for catching those walleyes. Now, they also told me that the perch bite is starting to pick back up. Those perch are kind of mixed in with the walleyes, and a lot more of them are being found out on the mid-lake structure. Now, the best way to catch those perch, same kind of deal as the walleyes. They're eating a slip bobber and a leech. They're eating a chunk of a night crawler. You can still get some on minnows, but moving forward, it's primarily going to be a leech and crawler bite. Now, northern pike, the bite for those has been absolutely insane this spring. You can basically catch them anywhere. If you really want to get into them, troll a big spoon or a big spinner bait along the weed lines, and you're gonna catch a ton of northern pike. Now, as far as panfish go, the panfish are just starting to show up in the reeds, the crappies and bluegills. Best way to catch those, slip bobber with a small jig underneath, either a minnow, a chunk of night crawler, or a small leech, and you're probably going to find yourself some really nice panfish out there. Now, as far as the bass bite goes, the bass are kind of in the same locations as those panfish. They're up in the reeds, they're up on the shallow weed lines. People are casting swim baits at them, spinner baits, kind of whatever you want to throw up in there. Them bass are hungry and they're ready to bite. Now, if you're looking for a guide trip up on Lake Winnie, we highly recommend zupsguideservice. Scott runs an amazing operation up there. He is pretty booked up right now, but he is offering twilight trips. You go out from 5 p.m. till dark. He's got a ton of availability for that, so go ahead, give Scott a call. Line up a twilight trip. That is my preferred trip. Get out there, see the beautiful sunset, and catch some beautiful Lake Winnie walleyes. So if you're looking for a guide up on Lake Winnie, go ahead and call Scott from zupsguideservice. Now, if you're looking for a place to stay up on Lake Winnie, we highly recommend the Pines Resort. They do have some cabins open this summer. Go ahead, give Chad a call, get that lined up, and hopefully you can fit that into your plans for this summer. Now, the Pines Resort, they have a full bar and restaurant. They got a big marina, live bait, gas for your boat right at the dock. Whether you're staying there or not, you can pull your boat up, park it at the dock, walk up, get a drink, get some food. They're hoping to have live music this coming weekend, so stay tuned to their Facebook page. That will be open to the public as well. So if you're looking for a place to stay up on Lake Winnie, go ahead and call Chad from the Pines Resort. All right, now moving over to Leech Lake. I talked to the guys from Leech Lake Guide Team today. They told me the walleye bite is really good right now. Now, as far as where to find the walleyes, they said 9 to 14 feet of water on flats adjacent to shoreline rocks. Another good place, they said, is Main Lake Reefs in that 15 to 24 feet of water. Now, Austin told me that the best method to catch those fish up until this week was with a jig and a minnow, but that has drastically changed and those fish are looking for leeches. He said the slip bobber and a leech has been outperforming all other methods. However, he does suspect that the spinner bite with a leech and a crawler is going to improve drastically here in the near future. The bug hatches are not far behind right now, and when those bugs hatch, the night crawler and a spinner is going to be key. Now, as far as the panfish go, the bluegills are still up plenty shallow. Look for shallow weed lines, throw up a night crawler, a small leech. You're going to catch those up in the shallow weed lines. Now, the crappies, he said they're pretty much done spawning. There might be a few still up in real shallow, but they're transitioning out a little bit deeper. So he said look for those deeper weed lines adjacent to their spawning grounds. He said if you can find some fresh cabbage that's coming up, more than likely that's going to hold some really nice crappies. And he said the best method for catching those is a 16th ounce jig with a minnow or a plastic. Now remember guys, when you're getting in on them big panfish up on Leech Lake, the limit is only 5, but we still ask that you practice selective harvest. Let those great big ones go. Keep some of the smaller ones. You'll still have plenty for a fish fry, and you'll preserve that population for the future anglers. Now, he also told me the pike bite has been really good up there. They're seeing some bigger pike that they're not used to seeing, which is a good sign, but plenty of those smaller ones, if you want to keep some pike for pickling or just a fish fry, plenty of pike to be had up there mixed in with the walleyes and the bass. Now, if you're looking for a guide trip up on Leech Lake Guide Team, they have a ton of guides in their team there. They always have availability because of that. So go ahead, look up Leech Lake Guide Team LLC on Facebook or on their website. All of the info will be linked down in the description. Connect with one of those guys and book yourself a trip up on Leech Lake this summer. Now, if you're looking for a place to stay up on Leech Lake, we highly recommend Horseshoe Bay Lodge. Beautiful resort. They got cabins, condos, hotel rooms. They got a pool, hot tub, sauna, beautiful beach, playground for the kids to play on. They got a full bar and restaurant. This weekend they will have live music. Charlie Darmer will be playing there. So follow them on their Facebook page at Iron Fire Bar and Grill, and they will have all the info for when Charlie will be playing. Now, Horseshoe Bay Lodge, they also have a big marina. Whether you're staying there or not, you can pull your boat up into their dock, walk up to the restaurant, get some delicious food and a drink, and have yourself a blast out on Leech Lake. So, if you're looking for a place to stay up on Leech Lake this coming weekend, go ahead and call Cam or Courtney from Horseshoe Bay Lodge. Alright, now moving over to Mille Lacs Lake, I talked to Jeff from Castles Resort, and he said the fishing has been on fire for Mille Lacs Lake. As far as walleyes go, he said they've still been fishing that 10 to 16 feet of water on the rocks. He said Big Point, Hennepin Island, even some nice walleyes being caught right in Isle Bay as of this past week. Now, he said in that 10 to 16 feet of water, the best method is still a slip bobber and a leech. Some people are still getting them on jigs and minnows and jigs in a plastic. Now, he did say that this past week he had some people up there and they were pulling Lindy rigs in 22 to 28 feet of water, and they caught a ton of walleyes that way. So I don't know if the fish are starting to transition out to the deeper water or if there's just fish everywhere in the lake, which it seems to be right now. But that 22 to 28 feet of water pulling Lindy rigs is a good bet, as well as that 10 to 16 feet with a slip bobber and a leech. Now, as far as the smallmouth bass go, Jeff said this is the best smallmouth bass bite he has ever experienced up there. He's been going up there for 30 plus years. He said if you want to find those bass, look for rocks in 10 feet of water or less. Now, the big females, they are currently up spawning. However, that will probably end here soon. So if you want to get up to Mille Lacs and experience the phenomenal smallmouth bite, I would recommend getting up there soon. Now, the best methods to catch those fish, Ned rig, drop shot, hair jig, purple jerk baits, and some people have even been throwing some topwaters and having great success. Right now is a prime bite for them. You can basically do nothing wrong. Whatever you throw, more than likely they're going to bite, but you got to find those shallow rocks. That's where those fish are right now. Now, as far as the pike bite goes, there is a pike bite in Isle Bay. It hasn't fired up as good as it had been last year, but they do expect for that to pick up as the water temps continue to rise. Now they're trolling big spoons and spinners, and they're getting some really nice eater pike out there on Mille Lacs. Now, as far as the muskie bite goes, this past weekend was muskie opener up there. Isle Bay was absolutely loaded with boats. A lot of muskies being caught, but a ton of them in that 30 to 40 inch range. They did see some bigger ones, even some right up under their dock. So if you want to target some muskies up there, now is not a bad time to target Isle Bay. Now, if you're looking for a guide up on Mille Lacs Lake, go ahead, give Jeff a call from Castles Resort. They are working with guides. They have a guide right there at the resort. They also run their launch boat. So if you want to get out fishing, you don't have a boat, or you don't want to pull yours up there, or maybe you just need somebody to teach you the ropes, go ahead, call Castles Resort, and they will hook you up with a guide, and you will have a blast. Now, if you're looking for a place to stay, Castles Resort, they have beautiful cabins up there. Go ahead, give them a call, find out what availability they have. I know they have some cabins available still in June and July. So go ahead, give Jeff a call and book one of those cabins as soon as you can. Well, that's going to do it for this week's fishing report, guys. Really appreciate you tuning in. The support has been overwhelming, and we absolutely appreciate every single one of you. Now, we hope you guys can make it out fishing. Now, remember, be kind at the boat ramp. If somebody needs some help, lend a helping hand. Be patient with them. Don't crowd other fishermen. Be respectful, but go out there, have some fun, and most importantly, don't forget to get on out there and get living.